The following is ripped from a live recording, and I'm going to be going over some story points as well as capitalizing essentially on a few of the dev's words, which basically brings the entire story into question. Now, to demonstrate this point, I do go into some sensitive topics such as military, veterancy, and as well as some hint at the current condition in the Middle East. This is not there to show my political standpoint or anything. It is purely there as talking points as within the story. And again, this is to conclude the final manhunt, including the Kelso manhunt, so there may also be some spoilers ahead. Either way, I hope you enjoy.
Unknown network detected.
Agent, glad you could make it. It's really good to see you.
Vanguard identification confirmed. Rogue network activated. Agent status: rogue.
What do you say, Agent? You ready to see how far down the rabbit hole really goes?
System clone complete. I've missed you, Vanguard. Welcome back, sir.
We're set. This is gonna be fun.
It's not much of a plot twist, is it? Like, we knew Kina was coming back. Like, it was like the most obvious thing since having a curry the night before the worst shit of your life. Like, oh, I've had a really dodgy curry. I wonder what my shit in the morning's going to be like. Sunshines and rainbows. Clearly not. It's going to be horrific. Like, we knew, like, it took like a minimum of like 1.5 points of IQ to realise that Kina was coming back. The only surprise for me is Theo coming back. Kelso in the van didn't look too thrilled, I must say. I don't know if we saw it. I don't know if it's just bad animation or bad cutscene, but she didn't look too thrilled or happy to be in that situation. I've also just realised my coffee that my wife made me about an hour ago is still sat here and I've not had any of it. The last com is just Kelso's note, I am sorry. Right. However, again, hanging on the devs saying that Division 2 is a tactical shooter. Fine, if they want to play that route, we can play that route as well. Because, again, tactical shooters have to have a basis in, like, reality. That's what makes them a tactical shooter. In order to be tactical, we actually have to have an understanding of what, for at least human beings, what a tactical analysis of a situation is, and then the tactical response to it. That's what makes a tactical shooter. Typically, it involves stealth mechanics. For one, Division 2 doesn't have stealth mechanics. And typically as well, one headshot, one kill. We can do that, but it's like... So, my point here is Division 2 isn't a tactical shooter. However, if it was, and if the devs want to fucking ping this, right? Alani Kelso, right? Rogue. I mean, that was another thing as well. Like, spoiler alert, website got updated pretty quick, right? She has done the US Army Ranger School. Right, US Army Rangers. I mean, 50k your next pay. If anyone wants a decent paycheck, there's you go. Right, raids and assault missions. Okay, special operation raids, forcible entry operations, and special reconnaissance. Right, these are one of the premier tier 1 top special forces units in the world. I don't think women can actually be a part of the Rangers, but I do know that women can at least do the Ranger School. Okay, so she is hard as nails to begin with. But the real one you want to be concerned about is this bit here. Paramilitary officer, CIA. Would you like to know what paramilitary officers did? Right? They made these guys. This is what paramilitary officers did. It was 2 CIA paramilitary officers, 1 MI5 or MI6, and about $6 billion US. And they destabilized the entire Middle East for about 60 plus years. 3 people did that. And you're telling me that one woman in New York, or at least Washington, like, she is the most dangerous thing walking around in the law right now. She is unbelievably dangerous. And she's gone rogue. Yeah, we're either dead or we have no choice but to join her. I mean, if they actually kept this law accurate, then the entire situation we are in right now wouldn't actually even exist. It just wouldn't. It just wouldn't. There would be none of this situation. Black Tusk would be wiped out. True Sons would be taking their orders from Kelso. Hyenas and Outcasts would be given the ultimatum of join or die. Manny would be a bitch in the corner writing field reports and making her tea. Like, even Keena would be like, "Ma'am, what do you want? What do you need doing today?" Like, she is OP as fuck in terms of what she is capable of, and it's not being used at all. She's just getting ragged around, and it's pissing me off. Like, it's so badly written. I mean, what's Keena? Leader of the Rogue Division agents. Like, US armies and the future trader. I mean, that actually makes him stupidly intelligent. If you can do future trades, that makes you really smart. He did Citadel Military College, so he's not just US Navy, he's actually an officer in the US Navy. I don't know what he did in the US Navy, but if he does future trades, an officer in the US military, in the US Navy, and apparently is the leader of the entire Rogue Division. Like, he is going to be very, very intelligent. Very intelligent. So we're now got to, like... So you're telling me that we've got to combat someone who is able to trade future stock prices, accurately predict outcomes and analyze them, and then sell them before they're in actual effect. A naval officer and a CIA operative. And granted, yes, we don't know anything really about our background, but if we were of this level, why the fuck are we taking orders from Manny? If we are of this level, why is Natalia Sokolova a threat? Yeah, that's another thing. Like, so many of them. So, Vivian, chemical engineer. Yeah, so she was a chemical engineer. She is... This is another thing, right? She took over Joe Farrow. Right, this brings, like, more credence to it. She took over that Joe Farrow guy, or whatever his name is. 2 people that have the charisma of a wet fart were somehow able to lead a major faction within New York that alienated and burned alive unarmed civilians. Like, literally, they turned a good portion of New York into pyromaniac psychopaths. She did. Versus, what, Kelso? Like, come on. How is Crazy Redhead able to do all of this stuff, but the CIA operative that is specifically trained to do that hasn't? United States Army, United States Spec Ops, yeah, Command, Spec Op Command, and then Security Consultant. Okay, how the fuck did we beat him? Can't beat Crazy? You can with a stick. Like, how did we beat him? He is fucking top tier. Top tier. I don't care if he's got a bow and arrow. That just makes him even more dangerous. I've seen Rambo. Like, special forces operator. Come on. Like, there's no way we're beating him. Police officer. I really couldn't. Yeah. Cop. Couldn't give a fuck. RPA pilot. So he's going to be quite intelligent, but in an actual fight, he's probably dog shit. Rokul. She's not United States Army again. He's a flight engineer. Physician. Great. Good for her. Logistics officer. Armed forces. And I believe when he went to LMB, he actually became like a hitman or something. Might be wrong. He's a field surgeon. Department of State and security contractor. She should actually be pretty good in the fight. Explosive ordnance. Why is he on the front line? Like, why? None of this makes any sense. A smoke jumper. What the fuck? Does anyone know what a smoke jumper is? Don't get me wrong, it's a hardcore job. But basically, these guys are like firefighters that airdrop into the middle of a fire to put it out. Risk of death is extremely high. I'm like really simplifying it. But yeah, basically, these guys like fight forest fires by jumping out of a plane into the forest fire. Like, what the fuck? Why is he here? Baron Schaefer, right? Spec Ops Command in US. Like, there's no way we should be able to beat him. Like, easy no. Parole officer. Why are you here? United States Army. I mean, a lot of these are actually Marine Corps. She was a Marine. And an intelligence warrant officer. Like, there's so many people on this list where we would need to be fucking super. US Army and Metropolitan Police. Like, she's just division agent through and through. Yeah. Special Air Service. Okay, I actually didn't know this one, and now I'm pissed. She's SAS. You're telling me, as someone that's worked with the SAS, you're telling me that my pathetic little agent somehow beat Viper. You're on crack. Navy, General Physician, US Army, and a high school teacher. Oh yeah, we're back to rate. Like, no. Yeah, you're telling me that a high school teacher's on the same level as a fucking SAS operative? As someone that's done Rangers. Our agent better. If we don't get either a Warhammer 40k or a Doom Universe crossover soon to explain how the fuck our agent is able to do any of this, I don't know. Maybe we're John Wick's fucking like daughter or something. Like, none of this makes any sense. Like, we've taken out. Like, we should be, at this point, the most terrifying person in the entire verse. We should actually be the most terrifying person in the entire verse. Like, none of this makes any sense. Like, we've taken out so much. Like, again, right? The only reason I'm hanging on this is because the devs turned around and went that this game is a tactical shooter. If they go, yeah, sorry, we fucked up. We clearly don't know our game terminology. This is an open world RPG looter shooter. Then fine, I'll let it all go because, you know, magical, mythical things happen. But thing is, we could be Jason Bourne all we want, right? Viper, SAS, right? I'm sorry, Jason Bourne versus SAS. SAS wins. Right, we could be Jason Bourne all we want. Jason Bourne versus Kelso. Kelso wouldn't even need to lift a finger. She'll do a series of winks and then fucking guns come out of the wall and fuck you up. That's what Kelso is. Kelso is trained to destabilize a country. A country. And you think Jason Bourne? No, come on. Jason Voorhees versus Kelso. maybe we are Jason Voorhees. Because, you know, tactical shooter. Like, I'm sorry. No, this is so poorly written. This really is so poorly written. If the end of the next Manhunt isn't either we die. Actually, right? Theory, right? End of next Manhunt, we die. The new DLC comes out. We get level 50 and, like, the whole thing starts again. In order to hit level 50, you essentially have to start from scratch. Brand new storyline, up to level 50. Redo your SHD watch. Blah. I kind of feel like that would be a good way to go. Like, a whole thing start from scratch. That I feel like that would be good. Or we join Kelso, because there's no other way around it. Kelso's OP. Like, in terms of lore, because that's what it is. This is lore. Like, like Kelso being a paramilitary officer for the CIA, as well as done Ranger School. She is OP. She's about as OP as you can get in this universe. And we somehow take her out. I mean, I'm actually still baffled, but we somehow took out an SAS. Like, no. The Guardian. We'll get rid of this. One SAS dude. He's been named now. You can look it up. Just type in SAS Nairobi. One SAS dude. One SAS. One. Cleared out an entire hotel in Nairobi that was under attack. He saved, like, I think it was like 50, 60 people. And, like, search, cleared, contained, solo. Live. He's alive today. Like, he saved, like, 50 plus people. Neutralized threats. This is SAS, and you're telling me, one guy, and you're telling me we beat up an SAS person? No. There's another one. I'll see if I can find it. It was a air show in the US. It was like a 20,000 foot drop or something. Here we are. In the US, SAS soldier. Parachute failed. It was a 15,000 foot high, low altitude opening exercise, whatever, like Halo or whatever. His parachute failed to open. He crashed through the roof of a building, landed on the floor, broke his ankle, and asked for a cup of tea. We beat this. Are you telling me we beat this? He fell 15,000 feet, fell through a roof, broke his ankle, and asked for a cup of tea. That's literally what... No, come on. Come on. Tactical shooter, by the way. Tactical shooter. Oh, God. Oh. My brain hurts. My brain hurts thinking about it. There's no fucking way. Like, I get that our character might be pretty OP, but considering some of what we've been up against, like, like, no. Iron, hey, Billy. Yeah. Like, okay, yeah, we don't know our character's backstory. We might be pretty OP, but considering everything we've been up against is literally the best of the best in the world. Rangers, Delta, SAS, fucking Kelso's a CIA operative, Keena's naval intelligence, come on. Like, no. No, we should not be alive, and if they at least want to continue this trope, something needs to happen, especially against Kelso. Especially against Kelso. She's been a mainstay in the story. She's OP as fuck. This is just... I really do feel like they've written themselves into a corner. Like, this ending, like... Again, it was predictable, it wasn't entertaining, and it's actually just generally, it's quite bad. But then the overall storyline of what's actually happened in the game is quite bad. I mean, if they wanted to go down the completely hyperboreal bollocks route of just because it's the looter shooter, then fine, I wouldn't actually have an issue with it. But it's simply just because they said this game is a tactical shooter, where it's like, okay, well, now we have to analyze the word tactical. Where did a tactical shooter come from? What game mechanics are typically found in this? Blah-de-blah-de-blah. We go down that route, and everything that's happened in the story so far just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. We've got Rhodes, who's an MIT engineer, and we've got Manny, who's a signal specialist, right? Right, and we've got this Razorback here. We have the one at Liberty Island, and we've got the one at the airport for dark hours. We have 3 of these things. Why is it still sat here? Why has this not been reverse engineered yet? Why are we not throwing this back at Black Tusk? This is what literally any military unit in the world would be doing. If you drop this on their doorstep and we beat you back and you left this here, well, bitch, this is now ours. I want to see what this does. And we know this is a reconnaissance unit that can explode. Kelso should have been so easy to find. Kelso, like with this, why were we running around New York like a lunatic when it could have been, hey Rhodes, decode this for us, get it up and running. If you need more parts, we've got one at the airport and one at Liberty Island. Like, bloody blah, easily reconstruct this, get it working, get it under Isaac control, and we would have found Kelso in about an hour. Easy. Those massive, I mean, no one uses hovercrafts in military anymore because they're dog shit. They consume too much power and have limited capability. Along with the fact that where are they getting the energy to run that thing? Oh, a nuclear reactor. Nuclear reactors require, like, teams of specially trained people to run. Like, how is this thing running? No one's running this. Pentco, Fairview Power Plant. No one's running this. It's a nuclear reactor. After 6 months, 4 to 6 months, these things degrade and go nuclear. How far into the timeline of Division are we? We'd all be dead. None of it makes sense. But it's a tactical shooter. Like, it's hilarious. Yeah, I did say the same about the mortars. Yes, the mortars. And I was saying it for years. Because they're all over the place, like in varying different missions. All over the place, these bloody mortars. And I think it was the stovepipe manhunt. I finally had enough and I snapped. And I was like, why the fuck are we not taking these mortars? And then I come back to the castle settlement. And it's like, oh, suddenly we've picked up 4 of them. Go us. We've picked up 4 of them. Right? Congrats. None of it makes sense. It's a very poorly written, poorly conceived story. If you like delving into lore and whatnot, fine. I'm not saying don't. But like in terms of what should be written, with the plots that we have at hand, with the characters and their training, none of this makes sense. Black Tusk would have lasted a week. Outcast wouldn't have happened. Hyenas would have been dead. True Sons would be running the show, and the SHD agents would be working with True Sons. And I'm supposed to believe that our magical no backstory agent took out an SAS operative, Delta Force, Rangers, and now we're going up against fucking a CIA paramilitary officer. Like, no, that's not how these things even remotely work.